You have 1 minute left before your presentation begins. You may begin your presentation.
In the words of Walt Disney, the only way to get started is to stop talking and to start doing. Hi, my name is Tommy.
I'm Emma.
I'm Ed.
I'm Sachin.
And we are Enactus USYD. Ever since Nationals last year, we have taken Disney's words to heart and have worked on our projects through trial and error rather than over-planning. This year, we come to you with a portfolio of 7 projects in differing stages of the business cycle. These projects range anywhere from promoting causes on the side of coffee cups to reducing food wastage by utilizing disfigured fruits in order to create fruit juices. However, today, we would like to present to you 2 of our most developed projects, the Bridge Project and Culinary Tales.
Last year, we introduced you to the Bridge Project, upskilling youth and helping those in the community who need it most. Bridge is a community placement project that aims to equip participants with essential soft skills as well as diverse practical experiences whilst giving back to the community as well. Participants sign up to a 6-week course in which they are placed at one of our key partner institutions to train in essential soft skills. Participants interact with individuals who are less advantaged in society. Bridge has gained quick momentum over the last year due to the fact that it directly targets core needs within our society. These needs were identified through a thorough investigation conducted over a 3-week course at the start of 2018 in our Enactus summer sprint. Within the course, we were able to identify 2 key areas within the community where we could provide assistance.
Firstly, we looked at students within our community. Through a survey, we realized that one of their biggest concerns was getting their first job. Whether this be their first job in retail, hospitality, or corporate, all of them said they needed to demonstrate skills to their employers, but were not sure how to. It's a conundrum that frustrates young people within our society. In order to get your first job, you need experience, and in order to get experience, you need your first job. However, at Enactus USYD, we feel like we can develop soft skills that we've seen employers are demanding through relatively simple, real-world scenarios. We'd focus on soft skills such as creativity, time management, and collaboration because we see these as standouts that we believe we can promote amongst the youth in order to increase their chances of getting their first job. Secondly, we looked at small and not-for-profit organizations. Although it might not look like there's a shortage of volunteering opportunities in New South Wales, and on the surface, it seems like a sector that didn't need any help. However, in discussions with Greenway Housing Estate, we found our hidden problem. Institutions that are in dire need of help are oftentimes those who can't find it. Greenway Housing Estate is run by elderly volunteers over the age of 65. We found these volunteers didn't know how to market a volunteering opportunity, and in fact, they're so disconnected from wider society that they didn't think anyone actually wanted to help. 2 independent groups in need, 2 sections of our society that needed help. That's why we created the Bridge program.
For the participants, their journey through the program starts with first an online application where they identify the program that is best suited to develop those key essential soft skills. In their first session, participants bond over icebreakers as well as learn relevant work, health, and safety procedures. Over the course of the next 6 weeks, participants are able to bond together to work as one to create effective change within the community. At the end of the program, we have now partnered with the Inspiring Rare Birds company in order to create a tailored career workshop that trains them in those essential soft skills. Also, at the conclusion of the program, we hand a soft skills certification to the participants, as well as the contact details of a senior Bridge member, so they can later use that as a referee. Participants and students now have a clear pathway from a need for that first experience to being able to land their first job. We have now run the program 6 times, And this year, we are proud to announce that we've hit the milestone of having 50 participants go through the program. In terms of feedback, we have found that 80% of participants identified giving back as the best aspect of the program. So let's hear from one of our Bridge participants today, Senna.
I bagged the fruit into bags, and we also helped carry the boxes out of the trucks that came. And we also talked to the elderly who were living there, and also the fellow volunteers that were also working there as well. You had to work with other people and help each other out. So yeah, definitely recommend the program to other people.
What started as a partnership with Greenway Housing Estate has turned into 2 operational partnerships, with 3 more lined up for the second half of the year. Growth for a project like this is a delicate balancing act. You don't want to take on too many partners for each of our participants, and you don't want to aggressively market our opportunity too aggressively and get too many participants for each of our partners. This growth strategy is so that nobody's needs are left unsatisfied.
While it is clear to see that the program has been able to bridge the employability gap within our youth, where the true effects of the program has been most felt is within our community partner institutions. These are individuals within society who feel alienated and isolated. The elderly residents at Greenway, the homeless that we feed at Will to Live, and it's through Bridge that we're able to extend a helping hand. It's the enthusiasm of the participants that show up each week to the program that make these individuals feel as if people care again. This is best summarized in the change of attitudes and beliefs of our friend Terry at Greenway. Now, when we first went to visit Terry, he was highly skeptical about the program. He said that in the past, people had offered to come and help, but had only stayed for a short stint of volunteering. He was doubtful of our ability to actually get people to come to the program because of an ingrained belief that people just simply didn't care. Now, a year and a half later into our partnership with Terry, his attitudes have changed drastically. His enthusiasm for the project has grown immensely, and like us, sees that its potential is limitless. But don't just take our word for it. Here is Terry talking about the success of the project.
The students make a big difference. You see how much work there is, and we only have the older volunteers. So sometimes they can come, and sometimes they're sick or they're in hospital or whatever. Yeah. So we need that backup support that the students give us. Thank you very much, the Enactus students, and I'm happy to give you all the reference.
Through the Bridge program, we've helped volunteer 564 hours of volunteering hours to our partners in need. More specifically, at the Greenway Housing Estate, we have helped carry and sort almost 50 tons of food, helping alleviate the need for elderly residents to do it alone. By the Greenway's residents' estimates, we have saved them 720 hours of work. The financial sustainability of our project stems from the $20 fee that we charge participants in order to engage in our program. This $20 fee was carefully chosen due to a price too low devalues our experience, and a price too high would drive participants away. This $20 fee is used to run the website as well as marketing. However, in the long term, we look to reinvest this back into our partners to make their lives easier. Our revenue over the last year and a half has been a clear indicator of our sustained growth with our focus on methodical expansion. Since our launch in early 2018, we've seen new partnerships emerge, as well as a summer program that's highly successful. In the next year, we conservatively estimate that our revenue will double due to the fact that we'll have new partnerships as well as a greater participant reach.
So what is the future of the Bridge program? We now have a strong base of partners which are able to sustain our high demand. However, we want to open up this opportunity to high school students as well. We know that this has been a tough group to target, but in fact, we've already had our first group of high school students go through the program, and we believe that this is the start of something great. We also, next semester, aim to introduce the initiative of having previous participants actually run the program themselves, allowing them to develop leadership as well as organizational skills. Through this initiative of having past participants actually become the facilitators, it will remove the necessity for Enactus members to be constantly present throughout the length of the program. It is through these initiatives that we are able to create a completely financially sustainable model, with only administrative positions such as partnerships and marketing.
Moving on from Bridge, we'd like to share the progress of our flagship project, Culinary Tales, a cooking class with purpose. Australia is a very multicultural country, and we have a proud history of welcoming and integrating hundreds of thousands of refugees. But while Australia continues to offer new hope, refugees are challenged with breaking down cultural and employability barriers. Studies have shown that after 2 years, 75% of refugees still remain unemployed. And of those that are employed, there is a huge gender disparity, with women finding it 4 times harder to find a job. So what's the cause of this divide? Well, the Australian government has identified a few key reasons for refugee unemployment, which includes a lack of opportunities for women, a lack of job experience, and a short time living in Australia. At Culinary Tales, we looked at what unites all cultures, the love of food. So we created a project that allows refugees to put on cooking classes, enabling them to share their unique cuisines and stories. We're tackling UN sustainability goals of reduced inequality and economic growth and decent work.
Culinary Tales is now in its 7th year of operation, with the core program structure remaining largely similar to its origins. As a simplified 3-step process, we reach out to members of the community through our online marketing channels, and they then sign up for a cooking class through our online portal. The cooking classes are run by refugee chefs, who not only share their personal recipes, but also the stories of their journeys to Australia. The revenue received from ticket sales helps cover wages, ingredient costs, as well as venue costs, with the remaining profits reinvested for future growth. Now, before we look at where Culinary Tales is today, let us first take you on a journey through the last 3 years of operation. Back in 2016, we had 44 paid hours available to our chefs and ran 15 programs. In 2017, we accelerated growth through a massive marketing campaign using a skillful combination of above-the-line and online advertising. Simultaneously, we began to reach out to schools and corporates to run our classes, and as a result, we saw demand skyrocket. However, in 2018, we came to a realization. The marketing model that saw our explosive growth in 2017 was unsustainable, and we had exhausted our easy-to-reach local customer base. It was requiring more and more man-hours to create the same level of demand, and this was restricting the number of paid hours we could offer our refugee chefs. This required a fundamental pivot in how we viewed our operations and shaped how Culinary Tales operates today. In the last year, we've changed our approach to cooking classes. We've added a refugee facilitator role and shifted our marketing towards group packages, drastically increasing the number of paid hours we are able to offer refugee chefs, and our outlook for the program has never been better. In the last financial year, we were able to offer 158 paid hours to our refugee chefs, totaling $5,000 in wages. This was our biggest year ever, and we forecast strong growth from here, with a conservative estimate of 300 hours available in the next financial year, driven by the introduction of the facilitator role.
The biggest driver behind our sustainable growth forecast is the pivot away from individual ticketed classes, shifting towards the new model, which focuses on group classes. The group classes offer packages where we provide everything that they need for one upfront payment. Though this seems like a really simple switch, it's become an incredibly powerful tool in making Culinary Tales a sustainable social enterprise. The group classes mean we no longer need to find each individual ticket buyer, but are rather a large group of anywhere between 15 to 30 people. Our latest addition is student accommodation cooking classes. Now, I don't know about you students, but I'm terrible at cooking. I literally set my 2-minute noodles on fire. At Enactus Sydney, when there is a need, we see an opportunity. We have run a number of cooking classes at student accommodations around Sydney Uni. The classes run in-house and an open format, and are consistently met with praise and positive feedback. While we do still run community classes, the shift towards the group classes mean we are able to cut the marketing burden. Coinciding our shift to group classes, we've also changed the way that the classes are run. Traditionally, Enactus members would have to be present at every single class to help set up, prep the food, and clean up at the end. But this took a huge operational burden and it was on the CT team, and it was actually limiting the number of classes that could feasibly be run. So we reassessed the budget and found that we actually could afford to hire refugees as facilitators, acting as an aid for the chefs running the classes. This move means we're able to increase the frequency of classes, equating to far more paid hours to our refugees. The decision to introduce this new role was driven by the struggles of one of our refugee chefs, Maddie. Halfway through last year, Maddie entered extreme financial turmoil and was in dire need of aid. The Culinary Tales team spent a few weeks trying to find Maddie a job, but they had limited success. As a solution to Maddie's situation, we introduced the new facilitator role. And following the success of this new role, we're happy to announce we've hired an additional 5 refugees. But perhaps our proudest milestone is transitioning Culinary Tales from an Enactus project into a successful independent organisation. In previous years, Enactus has taken on the full responsibility of running the program. However, we are proud to declare that one of our refugees, Seda, has been promoted to head chef. Seda has been with Culinary Tales since its origins. She's in charge of decision-making regarding managing and scheduling the classes, whilst the Enactus team looks after the administration after its operations. Culinary Tales is on the precipice of becoming a financially sustainable social enterprise.
While the impact we are having cannot be wholly quantified in numbers, we believe some of our key results highlight the accomplishments of Culinary Tales in recent years. In the last year alone, we had 337 paid hours available to our chefs, totaling $12,000 in revenue. Taking a step back, in the last 3 years, Culinary Tales has shared the stories of refugees with almost 1,000 people, totaling $30,000 in revenue. So, what's next for Culinary Tales? We want to ensure the sustainability of our operations by introducing a train-the-trainer model, equipping our head chef, Seda, with the necessary skills to train current and incoming refugee chefs. After this, we want to hand over the rest of the business as well. Our aim is to hand over the administrative part of the business to refugee centres, as they are best equipped to reach out to members of the community that may benefit from the program. Our long-term goal is franchising and expansion. Our approach will be to create a functional playbook and a replicable model that can be used to teach cooking classes in refugee centres. Our dream is to see the Culinary Tales model expand around Australia, empowering refugees everywhere.
In the words of Walt Disney, the only way to get started is to stop talking and to start doing. And that's exactly what we've done in the last year. We've empowered students through our Bridge program and empowered refugees through Culinary Tales. Thank you.
We will now begin the question and answer period.
Thank you. Your last project there, Culinary Tales, how do you envisage controlling the quality as you expand? I imagine that's an issue you've had to think about, because if you're saying you're going to go from, I think you said 30 classes or something down the track, or 30 franchises, that's a big number if I've got that right. Thank you.
So we haven't actually, thank you for your question, we haven't detailed the actual number of franchises we want to target, but we want to create this functional playbook that has all of our learnings, running this over 7 years, and we want to have our head chef, Seda, move into a role where she can also be teaching her learnings, being for the program from the very start. We try to ensure H&S standards, food safety procedures, and that's what the head chef role is now doing. They're teaching all the new incoming chefs about how to pick the right produce and stuff. But in terms of expanding, with the refugee centres and the university, that will be through that functional playbook, and most startups always make mistakes at the start. So we hope that functional playbook will give them enough knowledge to not make the same mistakes we did.
Question about the Bridge program. Could you talk us through how you have validated the effectiveness of the training program itself?
Sure. Thank you very much for your question. So there's a few key metrics that for us have proved that the training program has been successful. And one of the biggest ones is employability after the training program. So for us, that's the key driver of the program. So in fact, in our summer program, which we just ran, we had 100% of all participants who went through that program actually gain employment after. We've also had students that have decided out of their own will to stay on in the program for 6 months, extended after the actual program's length, and then go on to get a corporate accounting job. That's a particular story. So I think the key metric there is actually getting employment after the program.
How many students have actually found employment from this program?
Sure. So particularly for that program, there was 5 students that went through, and we've run 6 programs, and we're seeing about 70% of those participants getting employment. But in that particular program at the start of summer, it was 5 students that went through to get employment.
And are you just focusing on the city areas or also focusing on regional areas?
So at the moment, we're focusing at Greenway at Milson's Point, and also the Homeless at Will to Live, which is a barbecue that takes place in Central Park. But when we're going for high school students, we're first using our network of current Enactus members to get younger siblings to go through the program to test the waters through proof of concept, and then aim to establish a network around the university, and then once we get that, expand to lower SES areas as well.
Seems, sorry. Do we have another question or not?
It seems to, you've had 50 students join the bridge program I'm talking about. That seems to be a good number, but it seems to be quite low. Have you got any aspirations to increase that number? Or, I mean, what's the ideal number that you're chasing?
Thank you for your question. That's great. That's a great point. We're actually looking to expand. We don't have an ideal number due to the fact that as we take on new partnerships, also obviously we'll be able to take on more participants. In fact, we've actually had to turn away participants due to the extremely high demand. The only thing holding us back is gaining new partners, and we're trying to find the most suitable partners so that they can be effective in training and soft skills. For example, we approached Project 107, which is a creative hub that helps develop creativity within the community, and they help run design workshops. And so we focused this particular partnership on the creativity soft skill that we saw employers were demanding. And so we want to pick the right partners in order to get the most effective value out of this experience. So once we have the right partners, we'll be able to expand our marketing, and we're using this $20 fee in order to increase the marketing, but for now we'll be able to reinvest it in our partners just to make their lives easier.
Yes, but what's your number?
I don't think we should stop anywhere, to be honest. If we want to expand, I feel like we'll probably. I don't have a.
I think it's one of those things that the amount of people that we can reach, the better. So there's no need to put a number on it because we've had 50 go through already. If we were able to reach 10,000 students, 1 million students, then that would be great either way.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in thanking the University of Sydney. Now, folks, there is a small break now for a coffee and sandwich. I believe the next presentation will be at 3:30, so please be back in the room at 3:30.